ever felt in relationship whether you should stay or go? Have you ever felt whether you are in the right place with the right person, and maybe even felt that part of you, your soul, is telling you to leave, but you're really worried you will make a wrong decision and the impact of what it will cause immediately after you make that decision? You are in the right place. Today we will be talking about 10 signs of unhealthy relationships, and today we are joining you to share with you something that I believe that will bring you value, and I believe that will hopefully give you a little bit more clarity and have an impact on whatever you're dealing with. And hopefully a lot of you will see this video and will be thinking, wow, I am in the right place, and this is the best place to be and the best person to be with. So anyway, welcome everyone. I had a funny situation because I started streaming and I had a hiccup, and I was like, oh my god, I'm supposed to start exactly at 1, so apologies about a 5-minute delay, but I just didn't want to hiccup on this video. So I was waiting for it to go away, and I keep on drinking water. But anyway, welcome everyone, and please just give me a thumbs up and let me know if you can hear me well. I'm wishing you a happy Saturday. We are joining you like every other Saturday. This Saturday also, I'm very pleased to be here with you. And I had a lot of reasons to do this video. It was calling me, it was questions from you, and it was also something that is very present, not in my life. It was in my life also in last many years ago, but it's very present to someone who I'm currently working with. And also in my family. So welcome everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Lucia Hoxa, and I am a lifestyle coach supporting women all over the world to live the lives they love, because I believe this is the time, this is the now, and a lot of things that are standing in our way don't have to be there. It's just things that has been programmed subconsciously in our mind, and I believe it's such a miraculous journey of personal development, where we dare to have a look to see what we normally wouldn't see, because normally we would be going with the program that we don't even know we have. So anyway, welcome, and today it's going to be all about relationships, and today is going to be all about us and about things that matter. So please keep on sending me your questions, whether here in comments or in a personal messages, as you do, because I love to hear from you, and I love to hear even like feedback. Many times it happens to me, sometimes you send me a message and saying, Lucia, that thing what you've been talking about, I just heard something was there for me, and it planted a seed and triggered something, and it was so wonderful. It's always wonderful when you send me a message saying, this really actually, like, you've been talking from my soul, you've been saying all those things that I always kind of thought I feel, but hearing it out loud, it was the confirmation of something. Either I'm in a good place, or either that I want to do actually something with my life, and I would like to do it soon, because it really is important. The most important relationship and the most important people in this life is us. And as much as we love other people, it's so important that we take care of us. And I don't mean just take care of us in terms of our lives and healthy living and so on, but also over here in our heart, our soul, being nourished. And the more awareness we have about ourselves, the more clearer our choices are, the more easier the life is in terms of its natural flow. And in terms of relationships, I'm so glad we are talking about this now, because there was a research that's been done over the quite long decades, long period of time, like 75 years, where they've been discovering like what makes us happy. And they've been doing it with the different age groups, with different people from different cultures and different parts of the world. And over this period of time, 75 years, they've been doing this research on many people, trying to see like what is actually happiness, what gives us happiness, what is that thing. And after all this time, what they figured out is that actually what makes a huge difference in the way we feel in terms of our happiness, like deep inside here, is actually our relationship. So I'm really glad we are talking about this. And if you are here sitting here thinking, my God, how did she know this is just what I'm dealing with? Well, it's quite likely, because what is happening in this time of the our evolution, our spiritual evolution, as I call it, or as I just called it, is that a lot of things that are happening in our lives is like coming up on a surface. A lot of things that we been able to brush under the carpet like really clever way are actually happening now, and we are not able to ignore them anymore. We are just, it's painful. We might be right in the middle of it. We might be even stuck, that feeling that, yeah, that's nice and to hear like whatever tips you have, but my life is my life and it's so bloody hard. I know I should leave this relationship, but I'm just really stuck. If I do this, this will happen, and this will happen, and this will happen, and projections of what the future might be, which actually doesn't have to be a reality. But anyway, we will talk about that later on as well. So anyway, welcome everyone, welcome. And if you have, please, first I start with a question. If you have any suggestions about sorry, I was just running here. I didn't have time to do much with my visual, but I just really wanted to be with you in spite of my lack of sleep, because this is very important subject. And if you have any questions throughout this streaming, or even something that you don't feel like you would like to send me in comments, but you would like to send it as a personal message, please do so. Like, it's so important that we are not alone in major things that are happening in our lives, because being alone, it can be very lonely place, especially if we are dealing with something that matters in our life, that structures, that creates our lives and the happiness within. So please interact, or but first question I will ask you, and I would love you to share in the comments, is that what do you actually think can be the sign of unhealthy relationship? What is it? I'm going to just give you a few moments. So what is it that makes us feel this is not right, this is not the place where I should be, this is not how I should be feeling, this is not how he should react or she should react? What is that moment, or what was even, when we are talking about relationships that you already left, now retrospectively, what was the moment where you felt that this is like, this crossed the line now, or this is beyond what I'm willing to accept? I would love to hear from you. So type it for me, like, what was the moment? For me, it was more moments. Like, I'm talking about my past relationship. I was married. This is my second, this time very happy marriage. But for me, first time around, I suppose the moment when I realized that that is unacceptable was, I suppose, when I saw the person that I was with at the time being rude and aggressive towards strangers, disrespectful. I remember, this is a little bit of personal share, but I remember 3 days after I got married to my previous partner, we've been on a bus and we stopped for a little pee break, and we went for, in my country we have sometimes like old ladies collecting little coins, just for you to be able to go and have a pee. And my ex-partner just kind of threw fairly big chunk of money. Maybe he didn't have a change, or he didn't have a time to look, but on to this lady. But it was very disrespectful. It was, I get he was rushing or whatever, but it was very disrespectful. And that like stabbed me right in there. That was the moment when I was thinking, wow, I'm actually ashamed of who I'm with. And now I have this person to spend the rest of my life with. And if he's disrespecting strangers like this, he very likely disrespects people in general, and including me, in the future, and maybe even in the present. So that was the trigger point. And then obviously years passed in my case, and it took me very, very long time. So for you out there who are in relationships where you feel that it's not right, that you feel that you should leave, at the beginning I want to say, before we go to specific points, I have a lot of compassion. I feel a lot of, I know it's something that takes time. It doesn't have to, but I also understand very compassionately that it for whatever reason, whether we are worried what will come next, whether we just feel complacent because there is a security, we've got a home, we've got a mortgage together, we've got a kid. It's not easy to leave a relationship which is toxic or really incompatible. It is it needs to mature to the point where sometimes I feel, I had a talk with my friends here till 1 o'clock in the morning a couple of days ago, where we've been sitting on a terrace and we've been talking about this, and it's very important. It needs to we need to get to the point where almost like it's very clear that this is not going anywhere and it's hurting us more than actual discomfort of whatever might come after we make that decision. So first of all, I want to say a lot of compassion. Please be compassionate with yourselves. But one thing very important, I say, to make this kind of decision or choice, make this choice to leave relationship that is, I'm coming closer because I feel like I'm in the dark, that is incompatible and is not bringing any fruit to either parties. It takes a lot of courage and preparation, and what it actually takes also is to recognize our own value, and it's really raise the vibration of the level of vibration, the frequency inside ourselves, because then the whole process would be much more fluid, much more much easier, and of course for us much clearer even how to communicate this and how to go through it. And breakups, split ups, divorces don't have to be like in the movies or with many of our friends. It doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't. Yes, it's in our head, but it doesn't have to be painful. Yes, it is uncomfortable, but it doesn't have to be painful. It can actually be done in a very, very loving way. And I know I have one of my clients who went through, actually many, but one specifically came to my mind, who went through divorce. And actually later on, I think it was a couple of years later, they invited her to for the radio show to actually talk about how she managed to do it so peacefully. They had one child together, and she was invited to share actually how is it possible to have a happy divorce, and later on, of course, to be happy parents and to be friends after something like this. So very inspiring, and it is totally possible. I'm just seeing your comments. Sylvia is sending me a message on my question. I was asking what is the sign of unhealthy relationship. So she's saying if the other one thinks he owes you. Yeah. Not know I have the best husband ever, but in my past relationships, yes. If the person thinks that he owes you, or if the person thinks that he's less than you or more than you, right? So it can be one of the one of the signs of relationship, or unhealthy relationships, or even like that level of not recognizing our own value, not feeling our own confidence. Confidence is a big thing in relationships. God, I'm drifting a little bit, so let's get to the subject, because I've got so much to share about relationships. So let's go through it. Okay, so 10 signs of unhealthy relationships. Sorry guys, I just feel like I don't have enough light here, so I'm going to come closer. Sorry, it's just sun is shining. I'm trying to make it work here somehow. Let me do this. No? Yes? Okay. Anyway, so first sign of unhealthy relationship, from what I gathered, is intensity. So if we feel the relationship is intense, now, yes, there is intensity in terms of passion, and that's all good, let's keep those yummy things. But when I'm talking about intensity, I'm talking about drama. I'm talking about when we are in relationship where it's just too hard. Relationships, from my point of view, yes, they have challenges and so on, but they shouldn't be like hard. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be like you're coming home and you're thinking, oh, what will happen today? What we will be arguing. It shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't be walking on eggshells. You shouldn't feel like you don't feel like coming back home, okay? So intensity is also in terms of, verbal assaults. The intensity in terms of, intensity can even be not just the shouting, but intensity itself can be even in the, we are not talking at all. This quiet, the intensity in terms of tension. So it doesn't necessarily has to be, loud household. Intensity also can be, it's just intense how much tension and how much non-delivered communication, I call it, there is, and also it's intensity in terms of like the one or other, the partner has got a tendency to express their emotions, but really overwhelmingly, or over the top behavior, which is like too much to handle, or he seems to be obsessive about you. He's trying to move the relationship far too fast, and that kind of intensity. Another sign is possessiveness. Maybe a lot of us listening to this, we all got some drops of this. I know in my past relationships I had a fair taste of this one, in terms of, the other person is trying to have them just, for yourself. Possessiveness is about, jealousy. I mean, jealousy is very normal in relationships, but there are degrees of jealousy. Yeah. So if you go like me, if you go to play tennis for the afternoon, but you get back from the tennis court and you get like 300 missed calls, that's overboard. I exaggerated, but actually it was true. So possessiveness, when someone is controlling and lashing out in case you are going out with friends for a coffee and having a good time, in terms of this kind of like jealousy, possessiveness, very, very important and very, very unhealthy sign. Next one is manipulation. So when someone is trying to control your decisions, trying to manipulate you, it's sometimes hard to spot, because possessiveness as well as manipulation at the beginning of our relationship, the times when we are kind of freshly in love, it can be actually very attractive. It can feel like love. It can feel like this person really cares about me because he puts everything else on side and he wants to spend time just with me. It can be quite flattering at the beginning, but later on it can grow into this, suffocation. Like suffocation is maybe a good word. So, when I'm talking about manipulation, it can be done in a very subtle kind of in a passive way, where we don't even realize we are being manipulated. It's more like emotional, drop by drop, and it happens all gradually. So sometimes we don't even spot it, that it's happening. And when it's happening, it's like, wow, this is it. It's not like in the movies. And yeah, manipulation is basically when someone is trying to make us do things that we are not feeling comfortable doing. Where is going against our soul, against our values and beliefs and what we are about. Very, very important. But again, the more we know about ourselves, who we are, what we stand for, what are our boundaries, the less likely we attract this kind of person, and the less likely we stay. Even if we are in this kind of relationship, the less likely we stay in this relationship, the sooner we recognize it. Yeah, so manipulation was the next one. Next one is isolation. Now, this is very, very common, more common than we think, is when our partner is keeping us away from our family, friends, in general, like from any kind of person who we enjoy and like to spend time with. It's very and sometimes it happens, when we fall in love with someone, we naturally are, want to spend all this time with this person. So it's easily done that we kind of fall into this kind of trap ourselves in a way, because we are so madly in love, that we don't pay so much attention to our friends, family, because we want to be with this person 24/7. So we kind of create that as well. And it's one of the things. I had a question from one of my girls saying, well, how do I not do it, Lucia? I always fall in love with someone and I kind of lose myself in relationship, and then before I know it, it's toxic, and it doesn't work for me. Or it's toxic even from my side, that I become this possessive person who suddenly, is thinking, where is he going? He's supposed to be here with me. He's betraying me. What if he's cheating with me, on me, and so on and so on. How not to fall into this kind of trap? It goes both ways. And again, the way out, or the way how not to get into this kind of relationship again, is definitely, your self-awareness. What is really attractive about women is, I was broadcasting about it earlier, is actually when she knows what's her value, when she's got like a lot of passions, when she's enjoying herself in many other ways, not just being with her partner. Because if you're whole and complete, like 100% or even 80, as a woman, then your man is just a lovely little bonus. It's like my diving instructor used to say to me, Lucia, we go for a dive and we see some fish. Anything else is a bonus. And that's exactly like that in relationship, to wait for, and for those of you who are single, if you are waiting there for someone to complete you, please don't wait. Be complete yourself. And then if anyone comes into that completeness and wonderfulness of yours, that's like super, super news. Next sign of unhealthy relationship is sabotage. And that's something that is also can be quite hidden, but when it comes out on the surface, it can be very, very painful on the receiving end. So if someone is trying to ruin your reputation, if someone is talking behind your back, and I don't just talk about like actively, right? But I'm sure for you experience maybe on other couples as well. I know I heard that, sometimes when man is talking about his wife, is like, oh, she's like that, or she's, like even talking about their intimacy and sexual life, like she's not good and bad. That's so disrespectful. And I find, it's something that should be sacred to relationship. Once it starts coming out on a surface, and to in this kind of disrespectful way is different when you have like good friend or coach, obviously therapist, who is, who you reach out to because you are willing to find some kind of different perspective or different angle to look at things, so you can work things through. But if you are there, or if someone is there to complain, moan and about you just because it feels good in that moment, but really is throwing the bad light on you, is definitely a sabotage. Another one is belittling, especially, well, it is both ways. I'm not going to say where it's happening more. It's women to men, men to women. Actually, it's very common, men to women, women to men as well. Very, very common. And it's when someone does or say things to make you feel bad about, to make you feel lose your confidence. Now, I say make you feel lose the confidence. In reality, nobody can make us feel anything. Like, it's us who allow that someone or something to feel a certain way. But for the purpose of this, you know what I'm saying. When someone is criticizing you, belittling you, patronizing you maybe in that kind of way, and even if it's just a joke, but it's not funny to you, it's really hurting you, and sometimes, and many times, it's actually pressing those buttons. Those are past hurts, from the childhood. It's incredible how we choose the partners that actually somehow, some way, are pressing those buttons. And it's actually really perfect, because through this we are able to uncover them, to feel that pain, and that pain is reminding us to maybe see something, and then start working on what is it, and then what is it that is causing me this pain. It's not just my partner. There's so much more behind it, and it's an amazing journey when you discover it and you are able to clear it, to heal it, to to be aware of where it started, and then bring awareness into that, and work with it this way, to the degree that is no longer impacting you, and you can move on with your life. Great. So another one is guilting. When someone makes you feel guilty about something, like you haven't done that, and it made me feel this way. But is not when it's like nourishing conversation, because sometimes we can have, of course, conversations about our feelings and authentic, it made me feel this way. It's different, but it's different when someone says it to you from that angle, like, it's all your fault when I, forgot my keys in a car. It's your fault because you distract me. You make me feel angry. Yeah, it's like, it's like it is blaming you for things that you have no control over, but still need to find that finger to point on you. And the impact of it is of course, you are, all of these actually in relationship, you start shrinking. You are getting into the point where you don't trust, you don't believe yourself anymore. That's one of the other reasons why it's so hard to leave these toxic relationships, because throughout the sequence of us being in this relationship, we are losing the confidence to even have the power to leave, at the end, like have the strength. And then we say, oh, maybe it's not that bad. I settle down somehow, some way. We've got a kid, so what can I do now? Yeah. Very, very important. Another one is volatility. So when someone's got a really strong, unpredictable reactions that make you feel scared, or feel like you need to be very, very careful what you do, you're literally walking on eggshells. I remember in my first marriage, it was very volatile marriage, and I was maybe the one of the few people who been happy to be at work, because that was work week and it got me out of the house. I actually felt really hard to I didn't like Fridays because I knew what's coming. Saturday, Sundays will be a lot of, a lot of drinking, a lot of shouting, a lot of sleepless, nights and everything. So, being with partner who makes you feel that you are scared, and another thing is that when it's a long time you've been feeling this way, as bizarre as it sounds, you might even lose the contact with reality. It becomes normal, and that's the dangerous place. I know certain things been normal for me, and it hasn't been normal. It's only when I left the relationship I realized, like, everything was like, wow, people are so loving, everybody's so nice to me. But I was isolated with this person whose behavior wasn't normal. But it was shocking later on how it wasn't normal, but I didn't realize because I settled for that, because it takes time for us to realize actually what is normal. It's not just about setting boundaries. So yeah, when they overreact to small things, when you can trigger them and they will tell you, yes, but you make me angry. No, you don't. Deflecting responsibility, very, very common in toxic relationships, when the partner says, yes, but I am drinking because of you again, because I was cheating because you are crap in bed. And that woman really goes like, am I? Maybe he's right. And the last one is betrayal. Okay, and when I'm talking about betrayal is when someone is disloyal and act intentionally dishonest, in disloyal way. It might act like a different person to you, and it might be talking behind your back. Again, it's betrayal, because relationships, to me, especially partner relationships, someone you are staying with for the rest of your life, it should be sacred. And I'm not saying we shouldn't, be talking about our relationships to our friends. Yes, but in very respectful, do it responsibly and in very respectful way. When we don't, it is a form of betrayal, and it hurts. And it always, like, how would I feel if he's talking about me that way? So always bearing that in mind. So anyway, guys, these are the 10 tips, something that I wrote an article about it because I've been asked to do that. And of course, there is more. Yeah, if we go into detail, we can talk much more about it, mention many other things, and I would love you to add more in. And thank you very much for your comments so far. I'm sure the more will be coming. But to wrap it all up, I would say maybe I share. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, it's not easy to exit unhealthy, toxic relationship. And first of all, how do we know it's toxic? So it's very helpful. Recently, one of my clients wrote like positives and negatives. Do it on a paper. It's a very silly thing. It's always in your head, and you're going around and through it over and over again. But when you actually put it on a paper, that's one of the things that helps you. Just put it, pluses and minuses, and just have a look at it, and have a look at genuinely, authentically, what are you still getting in this relationship. Then write down things, what you are really, like, if you're very honest with yourself, what you are really scared of. Are you scared of being lonely? Are you scared of how I would manage financially, or how I would manage in general? Will I ever find someone else? Would the kids understand? Would they blame me for it one day that I left? All these things, and try to go deeper. When we go to the depth of it, maybe we'll realize, well, we don't trust ourselves. It's not about him, it's about us. And that's a great thing to realize that, because when we go from there to here, in a good way, not in a blaming way, we might actually recognize that actually the bottom line is that the power to make a choice and like really being free about it is inside us. And we are the creators of our lives. We are the ones that we can say which way will it go. And the life is really short. So, you know, guys, and also what helped me personally is that I asked this to my clients as well. You know, I said, can you imagine another 20, 30 years with this person? You know? And sometimes the answer is no, actually. And many times when especially when the relationships are toxic and when there is nothing on the other side, there is no willingness, there is no something like, you know, maybe we can talk, or, you know, there's nothing coming from the other side. You know, maybe it's time to ask yourself this question, you know, can you imagine another 30, 40 years? And, you know, the thing is, if we keep on going in relationship, not recognizing our own value, not standing up for ourselves, we are keeping on betraying ourselves over and over and over again. It hurts. We end up not being hurt so much by our partner, but we actually hurting ourselves, and that's something also that needs to be healed. Then later on, it was my process as well, you know, being able to forgive myself and to complete and to actually say, well, you know, it was a great lesson, and I'm, you know, find that level of compassion where you can put it aside, and then the chances are you will clear up this relationship, you'll clear up whatever happened, you will see the perfection in the way it happened and how it happened and what it taught you, and then chances are that the next person comes to you will be absolute blessing, absolute gift. And the good news is that you will be able to enjoy it so much more and value it and appreciate it so much more. Like, you know, I've got my husband is absolute sunshine. He's one of the miracles of my life and an absolute gift, and I love him so much. Like really through my kids, or just even like thinking about him now, and it's a real blessing. And I wish this to all of us. And one of the reasons why I made this video is that I have someone who I love dearly in my family, who I'm, you know, with this sending lots of healing energy and lots of courage and strength, because, you know, I know she deserves much better. But at the same time, you know, I'm respecting that it's her journey, it's her choice, and it's her timing as well. But if at all, you know, I can encourage people to make that choice that is going to free them up from something that is toxic, from something that is hurting them on many levels, hurting their soul on many levels, and it came to their life because they can grow, they can discover themselves in a way they've never seen themselves before, then absolutely this video had value. And, you know, if you have someone like this in your environment, please send it on, because I really would love to bring clarity, and a little bit more clarity at least, and courage to all of you who are on the border. Should I stay? Should I go? And perhaps, you know, that's the point where when we are leaving, we are seeing that pain, what is coming immediately after. But what I want to encourage you is to see beyond that hill, is to be able to see something that, I know we can't see the future, and we can never be sure what is there, but consider there must be something better out there, you know. And that feeling, I wish you all, that guides you, that gives you strength, that courage, you know. And I wish you to have that level of trust and discover that level of trust inside you. And if you have any questions or anything I can support you with or share, you know, I will be very happy to do that. Even like send me a personal message, I'm here for you. Guys, thank you very much, love you, have a great weekend, and yeah. let's be in love, and let's remind ourselves that relationships, love, and connections, especially for us women, are those things that make us feel alive, to make us feel internally happy and blessed. So whatever it takes, let's bring that back, because that's our integral part, that's our core, that's who we really are, the love.